Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Chicago Club travel show and entertainment show. I'm Dorothy Pacella, and I'm your host for these shows, and we're delighted that you could join us. Did you know the Chicago Club is the largest club in the village with over 700 members? Did you know that we're over 40 years old? Did you know you don't have to be from Chicago to join the Chicago Club, even though I'm from Chicago? And did you know we're the friendly club? We really are. But there's a lot more to the Chicago Club than just travel. I know many of you enjoyed our shows every month, but there's a lot more to us than just travel, a lot more than a pretty face. We're having fun, and we absolutely do monthly events at Clubhouse 5. We have great musical entertainment acts that you would absolutely love. We have every now and then we add a comedian to make you laugh. So we're at Clubhouse 5 every month, the second Thursday at 7 p.m. And we welcome all, even non-members are welcome. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy our complimentary desserts as well as the RF cash bar. But as many of you know, we travel. And the Chicago Club offers monthly day bus trips to all over Southern California. They're wildly popular, and we're quite famous for them. We piqued your interest. We have some coming attractions for all the events that we're going to be doing in Clubhouse 5. I think you're really going to like it. It's going to make you want to sing. It's going to make you want to laugh, and hopefully it will make you want to get on a bus. So sit back, get comfortable, and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Bernie, your travel and event guy. My emails and our website shown below keep you informed of everything offered by the Chicago Club. This preview of coming attraction shows the highlights of our current entertainment and travel events.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains. What I do and who I know. Everybody read up. Thank God I'm a country boy. Everybody's home. Rocky Mountain High. Rocky Mountain High. He was born in the summer. I was 27 years. I'm in the home to place he'd never been before. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High.
Because the Chicago Club is going on one of its trips. The bus just got here.
don't have to be Jewish to love the Jewish deli.
Welcome to the 57th Annual Pasadena Showcase House of Design. Everything you know and love about Pasadena Showcase is back as we return to South Pasadena for the first time in more than 40 years. We're thrilled to have you here, and we know you're going to have a wonderful time. The nearly 10,000 square foot home was built for Mr. Harry Hawgood, an English civil engineer whose career designing railways and waterways spanned multiple continents from South Africa to Wisconsin, throughout the West, and across Southern California. Mr. Hawgood was a prominent figure in Southern California, having contributed to the designation and construction of the San Pedro Harbor system, as well as railways and viaducts throughout the region. Oaklawn Manor is quite unique in its construction. It is in fact largely made out of concrete, eschewing popular wood framing at the time. And because of this, and with its English composition, many believe that Mr. Hawgood himself served as the architect. The home was built at a cost of $7,000 in 1905, a large sum when a typical bungalow would be constructed for less than $2,000. Nearby, and constructed the same year, a concrete pedestrian bridge and waiting station designed by Charles and Henry Green endures to this day as a South Pasadena monument and has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Mr. Hawgood eventually sold the home, and after exchanging hands several times, it was eventually sold in 1948 and has remained a treasured family home for the last 70 years. Despite its unique concrete construction, the home contains intriguing period details, including beautiful stained glass windows, beamed ceilings, and floor-to-ceiling travertine fireplaces. In fact, the home has 5 fireplaces. The entrance to the home stuns with a large reception hall and accompanying grand ballroom staircase before leading on to many entertaining spaces on the ground floor. The second floor features 4 baronial-sized bedrooms, each with walk-in closet, ensuite, and fireplace. Complementing the main residence, the estate features a pool and a modern cabana with ample entertaining space. We invite you to stroll around and enjoy the property's natural ravine and newly planted gardens. This year, we are thrilled to welcome 20 exterior and interior designers, transforming Oaklawn Manor and highlighting cutting-edge trends in high-style living. Each of our designers have spent just a few short months developing their concepts, design plans, and building out their rooms. As you stroll through the home and take in each of the design spaces, be sure to see the before photos in each room. You will be shocked and amazed, especially when you consider that renovation on the home started just a few short months ago in January. As we have done for more than 5 decades, we are thrilled to once again partner with Dunn Edwards to provide a cohesive color palette and paint selection for this year's Showcase House. Be sure to check the color swatch page in the program. If there's a room color that strikes your fancy, you can head to any Dunn Edwards store and bring a bit of Pasadena Showcase into your home.
We have been working non-stop, despite supply chain issues, to open this Showcase House. We are so happy that you're here today to enjoy it and help contribute to our philanthropic mission. The Pasadena Showcase House of Design is one of the oldest and most successful showcase and garden tours in the United States. And it's also the major fundraiser for the Pasadena Showcase House for the Arts, an all-volunteer organization that funds music and arts programs throughout Southern California. Throughout its history, the Pasadena Showcase House for the Arts has given more than $24 million to nonprofit organizations to support music, music theory, and the arts. We were founded as a support organization for the Los Angeles Philharmonic Association and continue to support many of its education and community engagement programs to this day. Pasadena Showcase nurtures the study and appreciation of music among young people with our 3 annual music programs. Our youth concert at the Walt Disney Hall is for 4th graders. We've had more than 250,000 students attend this annual program, which is geared to introduce them to symphonic music. Our Music Mobile program, which was founded in 1971, is focused on 3rd graders, where we go into schools and introduce the kids to music and also have them have hands-on experience with the instruments. And finally, our instrumental competition provides monetary prizes to high school and college-age students. We've given out more than $650,000 to teens to help them continue their music education. All of these programs and organizing the Pasadena Showcase House of Design is done by 200 volunteers. We love this project and hope you might consider joining us.
The Pasadena Showcase House of Design experience is not complete without a visit to our Shops at Showcase and a glass of wine at our on-site restaurant. The Shops at Showcase is a shopping experience that is not to be missed. Our boutique vendors offer a variety of crafts and products, including jewelry, clothing, home and garden accessories, soaps, gourmet pantry items, and more. Most importantly, 25% of your purchase becomes a donation to Pasadena Showcase House for the Arts. We are also pleased to provide a pop-up bar that will make its way around the Showcase property with selections of beer, wine, and cocktails. And once again, we are proud to partner with San Antonio Winery on all of our wine selections. Unique this year, and in celebration of South Pasadena, we are thrilled to provide a number of entertainment options at the Showcase House throughout the week. Be sure to check our calendar of events for guest speakers, pop-up performances in our Oaklawn Welcome Garden, Friday night concerts, as well as our Sunday bottomless mimosa brunches. You're welcome to come back to the Showcase House anytime to enjoy our shops, restaurant, and entertainment options.
We hope something special resonates with you today as you visit the Pasadena Showcase House of Design. On behalf of our benefit leadership team and our more than 200 volunteers, of which you could be one, thank you for joining us today.
Ready? Hi, this is Dorothy Pacella with the Chicago Club Travel Show. We have a very special show for you today. We have been waiting years to bring you this show because it's so unique. There's nothing else like it in Southern California or anywhere for that matter. We are at the Pasadena Showcase and we have a very special host who is Marty Farley, who is the president of the committee. I've worked with Marty for the years when we've tried to come, but this is the first time we've made it. So I'm introducing Marty, my dear, dear friend, my dear lady who I just adore, because she is the driver of all of this activity. So you're going to see a lot of special things. So Marty, tell us about the house this year.
Okay, well, Dorothy, welcome. We're so happy to have you here. So, you know, after 3 years of pandemic, we are so happy to open up the Pasadena Showcase House of Design again. This is our 57th annual home that we have done. We are back in South Pasadena for the first time in 40 years, so we're very excited. We have a beautiful 1905 English Tudor mansion that we have completely reimagined and designed. It's a beautiful house, but it's kind of interesting. It was designed in 1905, and it's concrete, and which is pretty unusual for the time. The house was built for Harry Hoggood, and he was an engineer who did projects all over the world, including viaducts and other roadways. And so we think that maybe he was the architect because he was so familiar with concrete. He was the one who decided to design this. The downstairs has a beautiful entry, and as you walk up this grand ballroom staircase, you're met by 4 historic stained glass windows. There are numerous seating areas downstairs, and then upstairs there are 4 baronial bedrooms for you to see. And there are 5 fireplaces in this house. Additionally, in 1955, when the house was remodeled, there was a pool house and a pool that was rebuilt at that time. And so that has also been redone. And so for Pasadena Showcase House for the Arts, our organization was founded to support the Los Angeles Philharmonic. We have 3 of our own music programs, and we also support the LA Philharmonic. We have a gifts and grants program, and over the last 60 years, we have given away more than $24 million. So Dorothy, come on in and let's take a tour.
Okay, right, we're on our way. And before we start that, tell us about the interior designers
Okay.
and how they come to be with us today.
So what we do is when we select a home, we send out an invitation to designers all across the greater Los Angeles area, and we invite them to what we call the designer walkthrough. And they come and they look at the rooms, and we give them a couple of days, and they put together a design concept, and then they submit their proposals, and then it's a big jigsaw puzzle, trying to figure out whose design is going to go good with their neighbors and how it will all work out to give everybody the most exciting experience possible.
Okay, now we'll go see it.
Okay.
What's really unique about the Showcase House is, as Marty indicated, there's a lot of work that's gone in to each of the rooms. And the family that lived here before was here for 70 years, so you can imagine how much work was required. So this is a picture, and we'll see them throughout the house, of what it looked like before we started construction, and you will see now what it looks like today. And we will see that throughout the entire mansion as we go through the house. So we're in the living room right now, and lo and behold, it's absolutely stunning. So this is the beginning, and you'll see a lot of the different painting. A lot of the ceiling was wood, but now they've painted it. And so what you see is the latest standard of interior design. Okay, welcome to the library. I think anyone would love a library card to this room.
Absolutely.
And was there any challenges in this room, Marty?
Well, actually, above this it is a porch, and it had a lot of water damage, and so the porch had to be redone, and the ceiling had to be replaced. A lot of the plaster in the bookshelves had to be replaced. So yeah, there was quite a bit of work that had to be done. In fact, the floor also had to be replaced before we could start making it pretty.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so as you go through, you want to be sure and look at the ceilings. We have a number of rooms that have wallpaper on the ceilings this year. So this is the family room, and we believe that in 1955, when the house was remodeled, that this was enclosed. Because if you look over, there's a door over here, and there's a very large step, and so we think this was probably an outside patio until 1955 when it was enclosed.
Oh my. Were there any challenges in this room?
No, this was a fairly straightforward room.
And the wallpaper is,
Oh,
oh,
right.
is it silk or what's the material?
You know, I'm not sure, but I know that it was limited, and they were able to get just enough to do this one wall.
Wall. And that chess set, Carmen, did you see that chess set? Look at that thing on the table.
I'm gonna get rid of it.
In terms of technology, did they do the different new TVs or special?
Yes, there's lots of technology in this room.
That's great. I particularly noticed in this house, there's a lot more sculpture.
That's
That's the trend. But I see it throughout the house.
a lot of sculpture.
A lot of sculpture and accent. It's just stunning. Now we get to see some of the stained glass. Is this the first time we'll see it?
Yes, this is the first time we'll see it. And then, you know, so this is the sunroom. Once again, we've got wallpaper on the ceilings. We've got this beautiful leafy wallpaper that makes the room feel so open. Obviously, this will probably be turned into a breakfast room because it's right next to the kitchen after Showcase.
When we went through here earlier, the designer was here, and that's what we love. It's very often the designers here talking about their creations. And the gentleman that was here, he told us that table came from his grandmother's garage.
Yes.
I mean, not an estate sale, but look at the way it keeps the lines of the sofa in the room. I mean, it's just stunning. So inspirational. I mean, you just pick up little bits and pieces of your design elements. Thank you.
Can we go on this side? We're in the entry right now, and the house was very, very dark. And so it was important for us to try to lighten it up. And so that's why you see all of the light colored paint in here.
I took a
So
picture of this.
here we have the powder room, and I love the light fixture at the ceiling.
And the ceiling was hand painted?
Yes.
And then the floor is stunning. How she did that. So there was a separate designer for the front room,
Yes.
every single room in the house.
Yeah, we have a total of 21 designers in a room.
Is there other dining in the house, or is this was the primary and only?
Well, the sunroom was a dining area, and so, but this is the primary one. I love the ceiling. Once we get upstairs and we look at the back hall, you'll see some fabulous painting. The same designer who did the back hall also did the inserts for the ceiling and here.
Now, is this what you said? There are 5 fireplaces in this house. Was that one changed, or is that the original?
This is the original. The one in the living room has had face.
But this is original.
This is original.
And then that picked up the theme of the ceiling too.
Yes.
And were all these fireplaces primarily a source of heat?
Yes.
In 1905. That was it.
You want to have dinner here?
I didn't be served.
I know. I would cook.
The chandeliers are is that vintage, historic?
It's vintage, but it was brought in.
Certainly beans is fine.
Now, some of these things don't stay in the house.
They don't stay. So what stays is anything that has been permanently changed. So like the paint stays, the tile stays, bathtubs, toilets, that kind of stuff stays. The furnishings go unless someone buys them. So the homeowner can buy them, and most of these things are available to the public for purchase.
There's
They were worried about taking it out of the
Back here.
letting hold it before they got it to be repaired. These are original from Judson Studios. The studios was in the 97.
So now you get to see the beautiful stained glass windows that we have in the house. So they were in very bad shape. This is the south side of the house, and so for well over 100 years, you had the sun beating down on them. So we had Judson Studios come in and take them out and restore them.
And there's 4 panels here.
Yes.
So the original builder, this was the theme. Michael the Archangel.
And then of course we have our resident
I know. I
night
saw it.
over
The
there.
back room.
Yes.
So this is the sanctuary room or the master
Yes, the
bedroom?
master bedroom.
bedroom. And that was the way it was always designed
Yes.
and used,
Yes.
regardless of families living here.
And so one of the interesting things is if you look at these 2 windows on the north side of the house, you can see they're very close together.
Yes.
And so we certainly believe that there were 2 double beds in here, because when the designer got ready to design it, you couldn't put a queen, you couldn't put a king, because it fell over into the windows.
Right.
So the room is so large. The designer decided to kind of break it apart and have one area be the sitting room, and then put a kind of an illusion of a wall, and then put the bed on the other side.
There's nothing like using furniture for a room.
Yes.
And so this would be another functioning fireplace.
I'm gonna have to turn and see it, because I wanna see that painting.
You okay?
That's the way. Look at, here it is before Cal.
Right into that, not even realizing there's glass there.
Yeah.
4:15, perfect.
The way we did it is we just took the glass.
Thank you so much for that.
So now we're in the bathroom.
Yes, this is the master bath, and there was quite a bit of reconstruction in this area. There was a small little dressing room over here, and then a small little bathroom over there, you know, and a small little, you know, toilet. So there was quite a bit of construction that was done in this room, and it's just a fabulous master suite to be able to come into now.
Totally. So when this was designed, they gutted it.
Yes.
Had to, if they had all those other features. And now we naturally walk into the closet room.
Yes. Right now, it's just a beautifully designed room. Once again, making it very warm, has beautiful views out in front, and then more stained glass windows.
Oh, the view from the retreat.
And then you see the stained glass in the doors and in the windows here.
Throughout the homes in the past, I've noticed there was always a ladies' retreat
Uh-huh.
or a gentleman's retreat. Was that traditional when those were being built? Was that a standard?
Yeah, normally, you know, like to come in and eat breakfast, or that might be considered the woman's room, you know, where she would, you know, read her mail and write her thank you notes, and, you know, and this would have been.
Right, the gentleman's. Love it. Tell us, who is this handsome man?
Oh, that's George.
George! George!
Helping the designer.
So this is the young adult's bedroom. We originally called it the boomerang suite, but the designer didn't like that. You know, it's like, you know, so many people now,
Right.
you know, so we're calling it the, you know, the young adult suite. So of course you saw the fireplace in the sanctuary bedroom.
Another fireplace here.
You want a shot without me in it? I'll give it to you. You can have a clean shot.
Look at the sink. All one piece of glass. Unbelievable. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
So now we're in the young gentleman's quarters, and actually we have a designer here.
I'm going to be doing a kitchen, countertops, and it's just, I mean, obviously the fabrications.
So there were a total of 5 bedrooms in this house?
Four bedrooms. Hey Mark, come on over and talk to us for a minute.
Hello.
This is Dorothy. She is with the Chicago
Club. Down in Laguna Woods Village.
So this is the young gentleman's quarters. I'm actually calling it the young gentleman's quarantine quarters because everything that he needs should be in the room if he has to lock down again. So I broke it up into different zones. So we have the work zone, his little entertainment area, and then his reading corner. And we also redid the bathroom as well. So everything, I try to pick as many kid-friendly finishes as possible. So the rug is double, so structural. Instead of leather, I did vinyl. And then all the slabs in the bathroom are deck seats, so they're scratch resistant, stain resistant, and graffiti proof.
Ah,
So I wanted to make a room that was not just didn't look good, it was also functional.
thank you, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Really enjoy your space.
And you brought your flair with you.
Yeah, but I built more Eastern, and then my artist kind of told me so I wanted to not going more modern design. I wanted to do a Tony cheap place. So these are pieces by my best friend. He's an artist. He's an artist on the movies like Car Line and so he does a whole bunch of fashion drawings. So he's a lot of fashion drawings.
And once again, we have the wallpaper.
And the wallpaper on the ceiling.
The wallpaper ceiling.
And that's what started the whole design. So it's a modern Argyle pattern.
So you started with the really? That's interesting inspiration for you. And
So I was trying to find like
just came into the room.
I was trying to find like a modern English wallpaper.
Yes.
So it was something that wasn't that was really interesting, but at the same time it's preppy but
Yes.
contemporary.
Yes. Beautiful. And
you.
another fireplace. Yay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Well
Thank
done.
you.
Here, that was enlarged and then hand painted on the canvas panels and accented with gold leaf. All the treasures are from my personal collection, the beautiful Fortuny lamps, handmade in Venice, Italy by the Fortuny family that have been creating beautiful lighting, fabrics, and furniture for many, many years. The fainting couch is a local acquisition from a junker friend in Monrovia. A $50 purchase covered with stains and holes became a beautiful fainting couch covered in a silk cravat chenille. Thank you. You'll continue into the guest suite and then you'll cut in front of me down to the kitchen. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for coming. That's my fragrance.
I love it. It smells delicious.
There's a few of them throughout other rooms in the house too. I think there's one in the dining room and in the living room too, at least in there, yeah.
Lemon.
I saw you earlier and I admired your dragonfly.
You know, this is the hit. Other than the house, it's like there's so much.
So Dorothy's with the Chicago Club from Laguna Hills, and she brought a whole group up here.
That's your people.
Yeah, everybody walking around with that.
Oh yes.
That was us.
Fantastic. I'm so glad you all came.
So anyway, she'd love to have you tell her all about your room.
Oh, okay. Well, I love this bedroom, southeast corner of the house. And it was my favorite little spot. I felt like it had a nice, yummy vibe. I wanted it to be a calm and happy space with fun colors, but they were soothing as well. Did a little interesting detail, subtle wallpaper on the ceiling, and to highlight this fabulous light fixture.
Did you design that fixture?
No, I didn't, but I have been loving that fixture for quite a while. So I'm really was excited I would love it to stay here, but we'll see. It could end up in my own home. So I have some beautiful fine art in the space from a local gallery and two local Pasadena artists are in the space, which was great.
We love the table.
Thank you. It's a Capiz shell veneer, and it ties back into the mother of pearl tile that I did on the bathroom floors, like repeating those lusters and those finishes. I also mixed the metal finishes around the space. Little gold and silvers.
Yes, definitely. And you did the bathroom as well.
I did the dressing
Any
closet.
special treatments in there?
Well, the dressing closet, I'll point out that the built-ins and the mirror with the built-ins are all original to the house.
Oh, wow.
Sweet little dressing table at the end. I just updated the cabinet hardware and just gave it a new life with some paint, but I thought it was darling and I didn't want to get rid of it. Yeah. And I put this medallion is original also. It was layers of paint, so I had it stripped and gold and silver leafed and put it right back where it was with some sparkly wallpaper on the ceiling. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. The bathroom was a complete redo. It has a custom cabinet that I designed and had made locally, and we have a nice mother of pearl tile on the floor.
Oh, yes.
And the mother of pearl is on the cabinet hardware and the faucet handles as well.
Just beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well
It
done.
was fun having all of your ladies and gentlemen visiting us
Thank
today.
you.
So it was interesting when the designer who did the butler's pantry and the kitchen, when she first came in here, she said, you know, it's kind of awkward when you walk in here and you have to go, you know, this way. And so she said, you know, I want to fill this in and I want to just go straight through, but the chimney from the young gentleman's
Oh, the fireplace.
is right there. So.
Oh. It doesn't bother me that much because, you know.
Usually these kinds of rooms are long.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, back in the day, I don't think, you know, they wanted to look into the kitchen.
Right.
These days, you know,
Yeah,
you just want the
exactly.
shortest
That
distance.
is the dining room. And
Yeah.
Forget that. Yeah.
But functionally, it makes sense that there's a
Yes.
flow.
All the dirty things here,
Right.
the dining thing.
And this wallpaper,
comes and
It's
washes
so
them.
it's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Isn't it stunning? Yeah, it's like almost like an ombre effect.
Right, exactly right.
In the ceiling.
Now, this designer was different from the kitchen.
No.
Oh, same one. Oh, wow, that's a
Jenny
big job.
Chong did both the kitchen and the butler's pantry.
Wow, that's a big job.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, especially with her house now.
These are blue. This is like blue.
Yeah, like
Maybe.
a slate.
So Jenny Chung, who's the designer in the kitchen, she wanted to both keep, you know, have some elements of the, you know, historic English Tudor. So we have this beautiful wood, you know, that's on the island that is very functional, but, you know, is very reminiscent of the Tudor house. And then, of course, she's brought in all of the latest appliances. So we've got warming drawers. We've got a great pizza oven over here. This pizza oven over here can do a Neapolitan pizza in 90 seconds.
Whoa.
Yes. And then we've got a nice chopping block here.
Goodness.
And then, you know, kind of modern pieces that they put
Yes.
in are these Palmer hanging
Oh, yes.
cabinets that we have here.
You have to keep neat.
Yes.
Now, this passes through to the sunroom,
To the
right?
sunroom, yes.
Okay. Now, this becomes the pantry? This is the pantry?
So, no, actually, she's got a number of spaces in
Oh,
here
I
for
see.
for
Oh, for
pantry.
food, okay.
But this is more just we're getting ready to go into the gym
Gym.
area.
Oh, okay.
And so we've got a great bathroom here that after you've worked out, you know, you can get clean and then you can go in and sit in the
Yeah.
sunroom, and then you can keep all of your towels here.
I see. So tell us about this gym.
So
Wow.
so the gym, you know, it's functional. You can see, you know, it's got padding on the floor, so if you drop stuff, you know, you've got a TV so that, you know, when you need to move your bike over, you know, you'll be able to, you know, get your exercise in. We've got exercise balls. We've got a ceiling fan that will keep you warm, and then of course you've got one of the workout things that you can
Oh,
program.
yes.
And so this was, we think originally this was probably servants' room.
Room. Living quarters? Or
Living
just
quarters. Yes,
quarters
there's a small bath and kitchen over
Oh.
here as well.
Wow. But I can email it to you, right? Okay, well,
So originally, the laundry room is down in the basement, but who wants to go down to the basement? And so this was this used to be a little kitchen right here, and then this was the living dining area.
Oh, for servants'
For
quarters.
servants.
Oh.
And so it's just been turned into just a beautiful laundry room. And so, for example, if you were in the kitchen, I knew you loved cooking or something, your kids could be sitting here at this workstation, and you could keep an eye on them. They could
Right. Now, we noticed the windows are all three different types. And these are original, obviously.
Yeah, they are, you know, and there's some discussion about whether this was a sleeping porch. I wanted to tell you your style. It's very good. Yes.
And look at the windows have. I know, you need to spend a minute here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are getting your filming done.
Another designer.
Good.
Hey, how are you? Good.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. Very nice to meet you. So Maria, this is Dorothy. She's with the Chicago Club from Laguna Woods. Very nice to meet you. And so she brought 100 of her closest friends this morning.
All of us running around with these bags.
Oh,
That's
yes,
us.
yeah. You guys are so much fun. Yes. They loved, a lot of them wanted to stay here, so I hope they get back on the bus.
We downsize a lot in Laguna Woods, so this is like home to us.
Yeah. So Maria did a great job. Tell them all about your space.
Yeah, so this is a mid-century structure. Both the pool and the pool house were added on to the property about 50 years after the main house.
Oh, wow.
So when we took it over to remodel, we kept everything in its original configuration. So the walls and all the plumbing fixtures are exactly where they used to be. But we upgraded to a full kitchen. There was a very basic kitchen, and we did this great kitchen that looks like a bar from this side, but you're welcome to walk around and look at all the monogram appliances that we're featuring. We have cooking, we have refrigeration, we have a full dishwasher. So, yeah, we're packing a lot of function into just that side.
I do too.
We did a custom finish on the wine sommelier. And that has 4 different refrigerated technologies. And then we have 2 changing rooms with full bathrooms and a storage area designed by California Closets. So that's where people would bring in their wet towels and get a new towel. Our floors are porcelain tile, and they're perfect for wet feet, and they're super easy to keep clean. And our furniture is all outdoors too.
Right.
So when we're thinking ease of entertaining, come in with a damp bathing suit and you can sit anywhere.
Just hang out here.
That is TiVo, yeah, yep. All the fabrics and wallpapers in here are TiVo.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And this is their new Mesa collection.
Oh, I like that. Even the tables are just they feel like it's part of the outside.
Yeah, and those tables are stealing the show. The table and the floors are like, are most common.
And then there's more on this side, there's a small dining area.
Yeah, small dining
I love
areas,
this
and there's
here.
another changing room with also a full bathroom.
How many people do they have to change?
It depends on how many you invite to the party. Yeah. How many buses you bring in.
Like this.
This is like Maria.
Wow.
You're very welcome. So nice to meet you.
This is the Tranquil Oaks waterfall. And it was just a mess. It was just no, it was all added, and we've got someone who can talk to us.
So come take a look at the before pictures. But this was all.
Hi, Carmen.
The only thing you'll see was the oak tree. This was just a blank piece of land, dirt, sloping down. There was not much here. So we built this up in 3 weeks. We brought in all the It's really amazing.
That was it.
That was it.
That's what they
Yep,
handed
so we're
you.
standing here, basically. So it was a blank canvas.
Unbelievable. So everything, including the waterfall, everything you did.
Everything was
Everything
brand
was
new.
installed, yes.
Oh. And so the rooms up there were, what are we looking at?
That's the sunroom.
Oh, the sunroom, that makes sense.
That's the
And that's-
secondary living area.
Right,
You first walked into a major living
right.
area.
And this is the library.
And someone was speculating that this was probably a covered patio or
Oh,
something.
interesting.
That could way back.
Right.
They speculate because there's a doorway. Over here. Yeah.
Wow.
Back then, we have air conditioning, so you could. Dorothy, thank you so much for coming today. I hope you enjoyed it.
Oh, we loved every bit of it. And one thing I wanted to share with our viewers is Marty knows, I've been coming to the Pasadena Showcase House. There have been 57 years of this. I have come every year for 42 years.
Why, thank you, Dorothy, for your patronage.
And this is one of the best, absolutely one of the best. So we're sorry you missed us this year, but we're gonna be back next year with a whole new house.
Okay.
And a whole new adventure, so we'll be first in line for you.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Likewise, thanks.
That's our show for today. We hope you enjoyed it. But better yet, we'd rather see you in person. We hope you can join us at Clubhouse 5. And better yet, we would love to have you become a member. Check our website for all the details of the great shows, the great trips. And when you realize that membership only costs $30 for the entire year, it is the best deal in the village. $30 gets you into all the events. And then it gets you a discount on our day trips. Who does that? We do. Take care. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Okay, so this desert garden, you can see the ocotillo. It has these long spikes. Here we are at the Oasis Visitor Center, and these palm trees are part of an oasis called the Oasis of Mara. This is where the Coahuila Indians had a small village. They were hunters and gatherers. And you can see from the palm trees in the distance, there was quite a bit of water here. And hello, Chicago Club. We are at this very sacred place, Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery, where our fallen heroes are laid to rest, all the way from the Mexican-American War, all the way to the Iraq War. The cemetery is actually full. They do allow some remains still in cremated remains, but there are family members interred here as well. It's a beautiful setting here at Point Loma in San Diego with the ocean. I can't imagine a more beautiful place. In 1934, Fort Rosecrans was named a national cemetery, and it is administered by the Veterans Administration. Hello everybody, hello Chicago Club. Well, here we are at Camp Pendleton. It's the largest Marine base on the West Coast. There are 42,000 Marines in this amazing, huge camp that goes over 22 miles inland. 27% of the Marines' families live on the base. It turns out that Camp Pendleton has a very interesting history. This is actually part of El Camino Real, where Gaspar de Portola, the Spanish explorer, and Father Junipero Serra came up the coast. They called it Santa Margarita for Saint Margaret. And then, when Mexico broke away from Spain, the governor Pio Pico had a large ranch. This was all a huge ranch. But Pio Pico got in some gambling troubles, and his son-in-law, John Forster, bought it from Pio Pico, and it became a large ranch called Santa Margarita y las Flores. Ranger with us, Amanda Gossard. She's going to explain the difference between a national park and a national monument. Thank you, Amanda. And I love the, I want to be this. I really want to have the hat. How about, can I buy the hat?
No, it's not for sale.
You got to earn it. You can see to the right, we can see the famous statue, the Kiss. And it's a beautiful attraction here in San Diego. Okay, so your head is back. So everybody, this is the Piazza de la Familia, which is a beautiful plaza that closed Date Street. San Diego has a really good planning department, and they do a beautiful job with urban design. So look at how you have this very colorful architecture, mixed-use zoning, and it creates a beautiful sense of enclosure. We're excited to be in downtown LA. Despite challenges, downtown LA is making a great comeback. And if you think about downtown Los Angeles, bordered by the 101 freeway, the 110 freeway, and the 5 freeway, you have Little Tokyo, Alvera Street, the Arts District, the Flower District, you even have a Piñata District. We're also going to visit Chinatown today and El Pueblo de Los Angeles. So this is an example of the many museums in El Pueblo de Los Angeles, the Chinese American Museum. It's a really interesting museum. This was the original Chinatown. When they built Union Station, they displaced the Chinese and moved Chinatown to the east, and we'll visit that later. I grew up in South Pasadena, and I love this area, but I didn't realize, because I was just a high school kid, how much beautiful architecture and history is in Pasadena. Pasadena started as a resort community for people from Indiana who wanted to escape the bad weather. They came out to the San Gabriel Valley, and even in the winter it was warm, and it became a health resort. They built some very large hotels like the Raymond Hotel and the Green Hotel. People suffering from rheumatism and other diseases found the gardens out here absolutely beautiful. We are at the Gamble House in Pasadena. It was completed in 1908 by Charles and Henry Green. They were the most famous builders and designers of craftsman architecture. And you can see the woodwork involved. You can see the projecting eaves. You can see up above in the chimney how it has some decorative stonework and brickwork. It's just a masterpiece. In fact, they call it architecture as art. And they designed all the furniture, all the lamps, all the rugs. They absolutely designed everything. This building is so famous, it's a National Historic Landmark. There's only 2,500 National Historic Landmarks in the U.S. That's how famous it is. And they built many bungalows in the Pasadena area, but actually by the 1920s, they had sort of burned out. They started out building period revival architecture, like some Tudor revival and homes like that, and then they discovered the beauty of craftsman architecture. Now the Gamble family I believe they were from Indiana, what's that? Cincinnati, they loved Pasadena and they loved the climate. It was very helpful, and as you can see up above on the right hand side, they loved the sleeping porches. So when it got too hot, they were able to sleep out in the balcony areas in these beautiful sleeping porches. So if you haven't been to the Gamble House, I highly recommend it. So we're going to walk up to the front door. Gamble House is a good example of the craftsman architecture. You can see the craftsman lamp, the leaded lamp. The Green and Green brothers also designed leaded windows, which are beautifully tinted. And they traveled to Japan, and they were very much influenced by Japanese design as well. Another feature you see in much of the house is how they've rounded off the wood. You'll see that in the stairway and throughout the house. This is a typical craftsman feature. Robinson, who grew up in Pasadena, they were civil rights leaders, and of course Jackie Robinson was famous as the first African American to play in the major leagues. Just a wonderful ball player. And what I respect about his life is he became an advocate for civil rights the rest of his life. My mom went to UCLA at the same time that Jackie Robinson did. So these beautiful bronze sculptures are actually 2,700 pounds each. And these are two heroes of Pasadena. The Capitol buildings. The state capitol sits on a linear park, and on the other side of the linear park is almost a landmark. And you see that, of course, in the mall in Washington, D.C. So that's called the City Beautiful movement. This City Hall area had to be seismically retrofitted because in 1920, when this was built, there weren't the earthquake codes that there are today. Plaza Las Fuentes. Fuentes means fountain. So as we look through the City Hall, you can look at this straight line, this perpendicular line, which was typical of European Baroque planning, and that was very popular in the early 1900s in cities across the United States. Old Town Pasadena, and it's a really famous old town for lots of reasons. Number one, instead of tearing down all the buildings and building surface parking lots, they put parking structures around Old Town so they didn't have to tear down these beautiful buildings. So you can see that the buildings come all the way up to the sidewalk, and it makes for a better pedestrian environment. Also, take a look at for example, look at the Art Deco style, the zigzag style in that building. What Pasadena did, which was so brilliant, is they brought in an urban design firm. They studied the architecture and they said, hey, preserve these buildings and put wall signs up that don't cover the architecture. So you'll notice the signs are on the wall and they don't cover up the beautiful architecture. So they were able to preserve the architecture but move in nice retailers. Like, look at that Italianate building right there next to the Art Deco. That's what's fun about Old Town. So you notice that there's really no surface parking lots. The sidewalk umbrellas, it's really quite nice. Isn't this a gorgeous use of urban design? We're going to come back down the alleyway. So just to review, Old Town Pasadena preserved their 1920s architecture. They didn't cover it up with ugly signs. They didn't tear down any buildings for parking lots because they used parking structures. So Pasadena did everything right, and now people park their car in the parking structure, and there's also apartments around, and they walk, and they walk. So this is a very healthy way to go. The retailers have done quite well in Old Town Pasadena. Now this, remember, is just an alleyway. Now it's a pedestrian area. And oh, this is interesting. I like this courtyard. This is a brewery and restaurant, and what they did is they built a new building there, and they made it out of brick, because the brick matches the older Pasadena Theater. So this is a good example of contextual design. As we pan around, you can see the beautiful palm trees, crepe myrtle, but here is the piece de resistance, the 1907 Blacker House. The Blacker family was a lumber baron company, and the Green and Green brothers built the most lavish of all the California bungalows. You can see there's actually a bay window there. You can see the sleeping porch and the exposed rafters. the very elegant porte-cochere with the clinker brick. Green and Green Brothers used some very exotic woods inside here. The entire home and all the furniture was designed by the Green and Green Brothers. Teak and mahogany and other exotic woods. So this is considered the most lavish of the craftsman bungalows, although the Gamble House is the only National Historic Landmark. California Institute of Technology, Caltech, opened in 1891. It's one of the most famous research institutions in the world. And by the way, the scientists who started Jet Propulsion Laboratory first worked here. I love the architecture. This architecture is done by Bertram Goodhue. You can see that he has some Spanish colonial influences, but there's definitely some modern lines. And if we look at the domes, we can see some Art Deco details. So Bertram Goodhue, let's walk through them all a little bit. Bertram Goodhue was the architect in the early 1900s. They wanted to bring sort of a Spanish modern look to the campus, and he built what they call the Bechtel Mall. And he brought some beautiful Spanish colonial imagery along with some Art Deco influences and built this beautiful mall. And he did the whole plan for the campus of Caltech. Remember, it was Bertram Goodhue who designed Balboa Park. And he also did the LA Public Library. But you can see there's a certain elegance to the rounded Roman arches. There's a lot of Spanish colonial and Art Deco plaster appliques and designs, which add some flavor to the area. And it's just a beautiful campus, as well as doing fantastic research. But
I can't wait to introduce you to someone that we all know and love, Bill Hoffman Hoffy. He's taking us on the bus. We're really going on the bus today. We're all so excited. Bill.
Okay, I'm so excited about it. It's been a year and a half since the Chicago Club's gone on a trip. We really enjoyed doing the travel shows. We went to all these fun destinations. Thank you for watching, but now we're doing a real tour, and we're going to film the tour so you get a flavor of where we're going. This tour I'm really excited about. We're going up Coast Highway, and we're going to go to the Long Beach Aquarium. It's a beautiful aquarium, fish, exotic sea life from all over the world. Then we're going across the new Gerald Thomas Bridge, 515 feet with a span. We're going over the Vincent Thomas Bridge. We're having a wonderful picnic at Point Furman Lighthouse with an 1874 lighthouse, for heaven's sakes. Beautiful. And then we're going to go to Port of LA for a 45-minute boat tour.
And I love the Hoffy tours because he's so informative and knowledgeable and funny. So he's entertaining.
Great. As I like
here, I'm really enjoying the Bernardo Winery. I'm tasting a little bit of their beautiful Burgundy, their oldest grape. It's very, very tasty. So we are in the Bernardo, what's the name of the museum? The Bernardo Historical Society. And this is a mud wagon. It was like a local taxi in the late 1800s. And it was called a mud wagon because, as you can see, there are no windows. So when you rode in it, you got dusty or muddy, especially in the spring and the winter. But it's better than walking, and if you didn't have a horse, this was your mode of transportation. And I think it would be quite romantic in this day to ride on one of these in some beautiful county park, wouldn't it? So this is the mud wagon that went from San Diego to Escondido. Yeah, it's a beautiful example of history. All right, we're going to come over here. They have a beautiful timeline of the history of this area. So remember, before 1769, California, for about 10,000 years, was inhabited by Native American groups. There were over 100 autonomous groups. And then Juan Cabrillo comes in 1542, and he comes up and down the coast. And then enter Junipero Serra and Gaspar de Portola. So this is the Spanish era and the founding of the missions. And this is when they first established the land grants. And then when Mexico broke away from Spain in 1821, California became part of Mexico. And the people who were born here were called Californians. Okay, we are at the Leo Carrillo Ranch Historic Park, and Leo Carrillo was a very prominent actor and preservationist and a rancher. In fact, he was one of the most famous Hispanic actors of the 20th century. So when we look at his life here, He was from a prominent Spanish family. 3 of his relatives were in the original Portola expedition back in 1769. Other relatives were actually the governor of Alta California. His great uncle was the mayor of Santa Monica. So he was what you call a Californio, a person of Mexican descent who was born in California. He started out, actually, he got a degree in engineering, and then he became a cartoonist for the Herald Examiner, but he loved acting, and he became an actor on Broadway in vaudeville. Then he became famous for the movies. As an actor, he did over 90 movies, but his most famous TV program was The Cisco Kid. It was the most popular TV series of the time and the first one in color. He played Pancho next to Duncan Ronaldo, who was the Cisco Kid. So one of the cool things about Leo Carrillo Ranch Historic Park is that he tried to bring back the early Spanish and Mexican and Native American lifestyle. This is a prickly pear cactus, and on the cactus a bug grows, and this bug is called a cochinil, which is also called cochinilla in Spanish. When you squish it, it becomes a beautiful red dye. And the Native Americans would use this dye, you can see it on my hand, they would use this dye in dyeing their rugs. And you can see it's a very beautiful kind of ruby red. So next time you see a prickly pear cactus, grab the little white remnants of the bug, squish it in your hand, and you can get as dark as you want to go. Isn't that wonderful? That's Cochinilla. One of the most beautiful missions in the California mission system, Mission San Luis Rey de Francia. It is the 18th of the 21 missions. It was built in 1789. You know, the story of the missions is a complicated and a fascinating one. Spain had so many colonies abroad that it basically ignored Upper or Alta California for several hundred years. It was too busy with its colonies in Mexico, Cuba, and South America. But when Spain realized that England and the pirates were moving up and down the coast of California, like surfers, to found a chain of missions up and down the coast. And this is one of 21. So in 1769, Father Serra and Gaspar de Portola, who was a military man, arrived in San Diego, and they started an amazing journey. So remember, 100 years before, Cabrillo and Vizcaíno had explored the coast on a ship, but they had never set foot on land. So picture Gaspar de Portola with 63 soldiers and 100 mules going from San Diego all the way up to Northern California. He was supposed to find Monterey, and that would be a great place for a capital of Upper California. So he walked, it took him 3 months to go all the way from San Diego to Monterey, but he never discovered Monterey. He somehow passed it, but he did see the beautiful Bay of San Francisco. By the way, the Native Americans that he met along the way were quite friendly. They gave him fish and nuts and acorns and things that helped them survive. Their biggest problem was lack of water and, believe it or not, attacks by grizzly bears. So can you imagine a European walking up through California, and there were only Native American tribes at that time. There were about 80 indigenous groups who were hunters and gatherers in this area. The Native Americans in this area were called Luiseño Indians. But anyway, Portola comes back to San Diego, and he said, well, I don't exactly know where Monterey is. So the viceroy sent him back again, and at that time he discovered Monterey. Meanwhile, because he had established this route, Father Serra began to establish missions up and down the coast, which we know as El Camino Real. Now, changing the way of life of the Native Americans, they baptized thousands of Native Americans. They called them neophytes, and they built beautiful missions like this. They learned how to work the land. They became skilled stonemasons and carpenters. But the beautiful things about Mission San Juan Capistrano is the landscaping. There's a group called the Garden Angels who come once a week, and they pick the plants, they trim them, they fertilize them, and I think of all the missions I've gone to, these are some of the most beautiful gardens. Take a look at our state flower, the California poppy, We have some beautiful roses. We have in the background a butterfly bush, and you'll be seeing a lot of monarch butterflies. In the foreground, we have Mexican bush sage, which the hummingbirds absolutely love. And this is early June, and this is the prime bloomage of this. We have this blue statice, which is a dry flower that lasts almost 3 months. It's absolutely beautiful. This is another drought-tolerant plant. It's called a garda, and I've actually planted them in my front yard. So just take a look at this beautiful, they call San Juan Capistrano the jewel of the missions, and one of the reasons is the beautiful landscaping. The oak tree is, of course, a native. Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the cross and the rounded gable. The rounded gable was brought by the Spanish Franciscan missionaries, and that style became very popular. So if you see a building with a wall that's rounded at the top, that's Mission Revival. Style that in 1893, when they had the Chicago World's Fair, what are you going to put for our California? This is a statue by artist John Graham, and it's the Virgin Mary. What's unusual about her? No veil, first of all, no veil, and you notice her arms are not covered. Roses. And the roses did not grow in part of Mexico. When he brought him back to the village, it was proof that he had seen the Virgin Angel. So this is the Virgin Angel, the Virgin of Guadalupe. And guess what they did? They built a great basilica near Mexico City called the Basilica of Guadalupe. And this is, so you notice that they planted oranges and citrus because the Spanish brought over oranges and citrus. So it's only appropriate that the landscape architects chose that as one of the plants that they would adorn this plaza. San Antonio Winery. This is, I think, a gift to Los Angeles, the Ribbley family, what you've done, and how about the service? I mean, the food is good. Oh, food is good. Yes, and Rick is, remember, he greeted us, he greeted our bus. So Rick, take it away, man.
Well, welcome everybody. First of all, show of hands, how many folks have been here before?
It took 8 years to restore the station. It took $4 million. And in 2017, they were up in a scaffold, and one of the guys was chipping away at the ceiling, and it was tar and smoke from decades of use, and they discovered, wait a minute, there's a beautiful pattern of flowers under there. This is kind of like Art Deco. And they looked at it and they say, wait a minute, the whole roof is this beautiful. But they didn't know what the paint was, so they had to chip it away to try to recreate the exact color. So as we go in, let's take a look to the left and we'll see the ceiling. Club, we're happy to be at the Farmers Market. This is really one of LA's most wonderful places if you like food and you like to walk around and look at cool things. Here is the tower indicating the original Farmers Market. It started in 1934 and it's going strong ever since. And getting here before noon, which we did, makes it even better. So they have 21 different restaurants in addition to shops and food stands. So if you can get here before the crowd, which we did, it's absolutely awesome. So we're going to take a little peek. That is the famous Grove, and that was designed by Rick Caruso. It's an upscale shopping district that is beloved by Los Angeles. It has a trolley that goes down, and the proportion of the buildings was based on Charleston, South Carolina. The height of the buildings compared to the width of the street is perfectly comforting. It's what they call good urban space. But let's go into the farmers market. It's too much fun. You can really get lost in farmers market because once you get in, it's an absolute labyrinth, which is maybe a good idea to have one of these puppies. But part of the fun is simply discovering it as you go. So here is, remember, this used to be produce trucks of farmers from 1934. So this is the East End. We already have some happy customers that already got a sandwich. And notice it's not too crowded, but they have deli, French dip sandwiches. They have Phil's Deli. You can see the neon. You know, every little restaurant here has its own personality. Of this museum, not only the exhibits. So let's take a look now as we walk through. Renzo Piano was the architect. He is a Pritzker Prize winning. That's the top award for an architect in the world. So what he
So
did
this
was,
is the original perfume bottle of the May Company. When the architects restarted, they had to bring in 1,300 new gold tiles. The tiles were made in Venice. You know, Venice is famous for glassware. Look at this beautiful restoration of the Academy Museum.
let's take a look now as we walk through. Renzo Piano was the architect. He is a Pritzker Prize winning. That's the top award for an architect in the world. So what he did was he took a 1939 May Company building and he gutted it and put in 4 floors of exhibits. Then he put these balconies across to this major structure, which is a 1,000-seat theater. And we're going to walk down here to take a look. As we look up, that is the 5th floor, and that you walk across the catwalk there to the Dolby Family Terrace. You can see the people walking across now. It's kind of exciting. It's not clear glass, it's translucent. Now let's take a look at the rest of the building. This large round building is called the Bubble, and this is where there's an 1,000-foot theater called the Geffen Theater. I haven't been inside yet, but I can't wait. The seats are plush red like the red carpet. And if you look at the base, you can see the earthquake proof. You can see the base isolators. Let's come and take a look. Most architects hide the base isolators, but Renzo Piano decided he would show everybody that this building is safe in an earthquake, and these base isolators will vibrate if there's an earthquake, preserving the huge dome above. So I think it's brilliant by architect Renzo Piano. And then if we turn around to this corner, and we walk over here, you can see how he preserved the original streamlined modern corner of the 1939 May Company building. So this is a museum where the architecture is as fun as the exhibits. And it's going to be a long-lasting, wonderful museum. In fact, the largest dedicated to movie making. So the city of Orange realized they had Joseph Eichler neighborhoods. Joseph Eichler was a developer. He grew up back east. He became a developer, moved out to San Francisco. He lived in a Frank Lloyd Wright home as a child, and he became very interested in historic architecture. So he became a major developer, and he built 11,000 homes in the San Francisco Bay Area. He only built 4 neighborhoods in Southern California. 3 of them are in Orange, and we're going to see one of them. We're going to see the Fairhaven neighborhood of mid-century modern architecture. So the city of Orange is very proud of it. They declared these 3 in 2008. So Orange County is slowly but surely preserving its architectural heritage. Of course, we have Mission San Juan Capistrano. We have downtown Orange. Now we have the Eichlers, and we have Santa Ana has several beautiful historic districts. Another thing I like about Joseph Eichler was he was Jewish, and he experienced discrimination as a teenager. When he joined the Home Builders Association in the 50s and 60s, the home builders wanted restrictive covenants. You probably know what those are. Those are discriminatory deeds which run with a property that prohibited minorities from living in certain neighborhoods. They prohibited blacks, Asians, Jews, and Hispanics from living in certain neighborhoods. Joseph Eichler went to the National Home Builders and said, if you want my services, you're going to get rid of the restrictive covenants. And he quit the association, and he began building on his own. And he opened up his neighborhoods to everyone. So I think was he not only a great builder, he was a great man. Joseph Eichler, you should read about him, and I hope you like his homes. from us on the right. You can see it's got a breezeway in the middle. It's got a shallow roof with the rafters. Notice there's a lot of stone. Usually the windows, the doors are multicolored. Very flat roofs, very modern looking. The one on the left, you can see is quite similar. It has a breezeway. Eichler wanted to build homes that the middle class could afford. Here's another one on the corner. Some don't have garages, they have breezeways.